7th of February, Rabbi Furst, Pierkei Avos.
Okay, then okay. All right, then I'm sorry for that.
Well, good morning, Barry. Good morning.
Morning.
How's everybody? Okay.
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Umari.
Oh, Lou, how are you and Barry? I see you got back okay, all right? That's
Maybe,
good.
yeah, I see. I have a splint now on my finger.
Oh, wow. Okay. Furst. Wow. Okay. Good morning, Roy. How are you today?
Good morning, Rabbi Furst. Baruch Hashem, and I trust that you are well and your family.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Thanks for asking. Very good. Thank you. It's Hashem.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Samanapsi here in Yerushalayim Care Zoom. This is our first year in the morning. We're learning Pierkei Avos. We are going further in the statement of Rabbi Akiva, understanding a little bit more what it means that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created Adam B'Tselem Elokim. And you should have your new document starting with the top reference, the parish of Rabbeinu Yonah, correct? We got that that come through last night or this morning. I forgot what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it and I sent it.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you very much. Okay, who would like to begin to read today?
I do.
Okay, unless any objections, any Roy or Barry, any objections?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead, Lou. Rabbeinu Yonah, this is a parish Rabbeinu Yonah on Avos, the Perek Gimel, Mishnah Yud Daled.
Okay, who Haya Omer Chaviv Adam Shenivra B'Tselem Chava Yisera No As Lo. So he would say, I'm sorry. He would say.
This is Rabbi Akiva. This is Rabbi Akiva. This is a statement Rabbi Akiva, right?
Rabbi Akiva. Okay, Rabbi Akiva would say, cherished is a man who is created in the image.
Well, not is a man. Cherished is Adam, meaning Adam referencing to either specifically Adam Arishon, but more generally reference to all B'nai Noah. Okay, in humanity, Chaviv is Adam, that he was Nivra B'Tselem.
Okay. Chava Yisera and more cherished is the one who knows him, who knows Hashem.
Well, Chiba Yisera Nodaso. The Chiba Yisera, this extra fondness, this extra affinity was made known to him. It was made known to Adam. Hashem didn't keep it a secret.
Oh, the extra affinity was made known. I see. Okay. Shnei Amar B'Tselem Elokim Asa Es Ha'adam. As it says, because man was made in the image of God.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Fine. You have your new document. It's on the screen too, as if you like.
I guess I didn't print it out. Okay, I'll just look at it on the screen today.
We're on the top reference, Rabbeinu Yonah. Just beginning now.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mipnei kafal halashon yesh lanu lomar shechach perush.
Right. So since there's a double lashon here, meaning Rabbi Akiva says Chaviv Adam, and also Kibi Yisera. So there was a double lashon. It was sort of repeated. So we have to explain the reason for the repetition.
I see. Okay. So then it says mipnei because of what is this shekfal?
Kafel means, that's from kafel, meaning double.
Oh, double.
Kafel lashon. It was doubled lashon. It was repeated the lashon. The lashon expression was repeated.
Yesh lana, there is for us, Lomar, to say, shechach perush, that there is a explanation.
Well, that this, as we'll be following, is the explanation.
What follows is the explanation.
Right.
Chaviv Adam Shenivra B'Tselem. So the phrase cherished is man who is created in the image. Ki af lo yodea ha davar. Since even if he doesn't know the matter, the thing. Ella ki nivra Adam B'Tselem Elokim. Afal pi kain haya chaviv
Lefanav, right?
lefanav. But since the man was man was created in the image of God, even though it is cherished before him. Achar she nivrao, after that he was created, B'Tselem, in the image, B'Tselmo, in his image, uvidamuso, and his likeness, I think. V'kishgala lanu.
V'kishgala lanu, when it was revealed to us.
Revealed.
Shigale, something which is gilui, is revealed.
Right, like in Asher Yetzar.
Yeah, right. Very good.
When it was revealed to us, when the matter was revealed to us, Chava Yesera Hodi Anu. More cherished was this knowledge.
I mean, the Chibi Yesera, this extra endearment, was made known to us. Meaning, it would have been enough that we were simply created with Salmo. And that would have been enough that we were cherished, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu formed Adam in a special, specific way, different than the rest of everything that was created during creation. But the fact that he also revealed it to us, he made it known to us, that's a extra expression of how much more Kadosh Baruch Hu values us more than anything else.
So it's revealed to us because it's stated in the Torah?
Yes, that's right. Correct. That's how we know it. We know it because it says in the Torah.
So this Chiva Yesera, how is that known to us?
No, the fact is that he has this Chiva Yesera because it's been revealed to us. Meaning, even if we were never told that we created B'Tselem Elokim, it's all from a Kadosh Baruch Hu's perspective. It's not from our perspective. From a Kadosh Baruch Hu's perspective, Rabbi Akiva is telling us that a Kadosh Baruch has a special affinity to humanity, right? Special affinity to humanity. Now, that's very good, and that's a simple fact. But it doesn't have to be made known to us that he has that. The fact that we're told about it, that's a indication of the greatness of the affinity that Hashem has for us, because he wants us to know it. He just didn't do it, but he also wants us to know it.
This might be a question for later on, but is it the other way around as well?
What do you mean exactly?
That we have an affinity for Hashem?
Well, we should.
I know we should, but is it? I'm not too sure I'm asking, but yeah, all right.
Well, it should be reciprocal. That's true. Right? The emphasis of Rabbi Akiva's statement is not really on our obligation, but if you remember, Rashi explained it as this is really coming to tell us because of this Chibi Yisera, we have greater obligations, which is definitely true. But Rabbi Akiva, rather than telling you like a policeman, you've got to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You've got to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu like a policeman. He's not telling you that. He's saying you're so cherished, you're so special and beloved by Kadosh Baruch Hu. So that for thinking individual, he should come to the conclusion that therefore he's obligated to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
But still, Rebbe, there is punishment. There are times that Hashem says, if you don't listen to me, you're going to catch it.
You're right. There's got to be punishment, and in fact, the fact that there's punishment is because Hashem values us so much. The mashal that they say that there's a little boy about 6.5 years old, and he dashes into the middle of the street in the middle of traffic, and his car screeches to its brakes, and just barely misses banging him in Chas v'Sholom, right? And the kid runs across the street, and he's laughing, right? And someone comes up to him and says, "You shouldn't do that. What are you trying? What are you doing? What are you doing? You shouldn't do that. You could kill yourself, Chas v'Sholom." And he walks away. And then another person comes up to him, grabs him by the shirt and say, "You're crazy. Don't do that ever again." And then someone comes up and starts banging him, patching him on the bottom. He's hitting him on the bottom. "Don't you ever do that again. Get back to the house. You're in the house for a week. You're not coming out." So the one that just said, "What are you doing?" and walked away, he was a bystander. The other fellow who grabbed him by the shirt told him that he's an uncle. The guy who starts hitting him and sends him off to the house for a week, that's his father, right? Because the father cares more about the child than anybody else. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, because if you look at all the tzaras that Klal Yisrael went through in our history, it's not because Hashem hates us, Chas v'Sholom, it's because Hashem's great love for us. He cares that much for us that he's willing to do Chas v'Sholom terrible things to Klal Yisrael, so we should wake up and realize the damage we're doing to ourselves. Much worse if we wouldn't get punished. The punishments are because of the exact love that he has for us.
Okay.
Good, Barry, okay?
Right, good, okay. That fills in that completes the circle.
Okay, very good, very good. It was a very good question in place. All right, let's continue on. Let's see, this is now Derech HaChaim. This is the Maharal McPrag.
Okay, Derech Chaim. V'yesh lefarash ma she'amar hakasuv, and there is to explain what the pasuk is saying. Vayivra Elokim es ha'adam b'tzalmo, and Hashem created man in his image. Ein perusho sheyesh al Hashem yisbarach tzelem. It's not to explain that there is that Hashem has an image, udamus, and a likeness. She'ein hadavar kach klal. That this it's not this way at all. Aval hakasuv ba lomar, but the pasuk comes to say ki kasher ba le ramos lirmos bit bitamuna hagashmis but the pasuk is coming to say that when it comes, the ramuz is to hint,
Hint or indicate.
to indicate with what's tamuna?
Tamuna is a form. Tamuna is a form.
With a form, a physical form. Gashmias is a physical form.
Right, a physical form.
Mashe nimtza b'hakadosh baruch hu. What is found regarding Hashem be'inyan
That's the concept.
The concept niv dal min hagashmi. What's niv dal?
Meaning separate, separate from the Gashmi.
Separate from a concept that's separate from the physical. Ki bodai. Bevadai, because certainly Yachol Adam, man is able l'tzayir be'inyan hagashmi. What's tzayir?
To imagine.
To imagine the matter of the physical. Davar ha nivdal havalti gashmi. He's able to imagine the subject of the physical, of physical things being separate from the I don't know what havalti is. What?
Something which is absolutely without. Bilti is without. Something which is completely separate without any physicality.
So it's saying that by talking about the tzelem demus, it's helping us to understand that there's no tzelem demus.
Well, the tzelem demus, when it says in the pasuk, right? Yivora Elokim es ha'olam b'tzalmoi. So Akadosh Baruch Hu created us in his image, right? In his image. Now, it's not possible to say that Hashem has any image or likeness, right? So therefore, what is the pasuk coming to tell us? It's coming to tell us as follows. It is indicating to us that in a Tamuna Gashmis, you can find that which is something similar to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Meaning, if you look at the human, right? If you look at the human, You're supposed to understand from the human the aspect of a Kadosh Baruch Hu of being completely separate and unrelated to anything physical. That the human, his life in this world is supposed to be something which is separate and distinct from physicality. A human is supposed to elevate himself from the physical and achieve that which is spiritual. So Adam has been created in this way so that we can come to some kind of an understanding of the distinction of a Kadosh Baruch Hu being completely non-physical. Meaning our spiritual aspirations, if expressed and achieved properly, will give a indication to what a Kadosh Baruch Hu is in the aspect that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is completely non-physical. Is that a clear understand a statement there?
I'm not
Do you
sure.
follow that?
I'm not sure I got that. Roy, you're smiling. What do you think?
I'm trying to think. I'm serious.
That's a hard concept.
Maybe we can hear it. Maybe if the Rebbe reads it through and explains it, maybe it'll be a little clearer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
No,
Let's look
straight
at it
through.
again.
I'm very choppy on it.
Yesh the forest, here's to explain. Masha Omer Kasib, here's to explain what the pasuk is saying. The pasuk V'yivro Elokim Esa Adam B'Tzalmo, that Kadosh Baruch Hu created Adam, people B'Tzalmo, in his tselem. Ein the forest yesh El Hashem Yisbarach tselem v'demus. You cannot, first of all, you cannot explain that there's any type of actual image or likeness to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. She'ein hadavar kach klal. There's no such thing at all. Avos. However, Hakasav Balon, and the pasuk is coming to tell you, Ki kasher bar l'remez b'tamuna hagashmis ma shenimsa b'Kadosh Baruch Hu v'inyan manivdel min hagashmi. That the pasuk is coming to indicate to us that there is in a physical form that which is found in a Kadosh Baruch Hu in the aspect of his being completely separate from the Gashmis.
Say that last sentence again, please.
Right. Ki asher balrem is hatamuna gashmis mashinim sebakadosh baruch hu in nivdil hagashmi. That there is to say that the pasuk is indicating in a physical form we can see what's there in a Kadosh Baruch Hu in regard to the complete separation from all Gashmis. Meaning, just as a Kadosh Baruch Hu is separate from all Gashmis, he created a creature in this world that's supposed to be separated from Gashmis. To the extent that we're separated from Gashmis, that's the extent to the Tselem Elokim, the likeness, the similarity we have to a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
So that means then that I'm Gashmius. Now, if I don't worry about anything else except myself and everything that I can do for myself, I don't care about anybody else, then I'm about as far from B'Tselem Elokim as I can get. and the closer and the more that I take on Yiddishkeit and our way of life and thinking, and the closer to B'Tselem Elokim I get.
Right. Right.
It seems to be a paradox
Yeah. in
because
what
we
way?
are physical.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Our physical is supposed to represent Hashem's spiritual.
Right.
Mhm.
That sounds like Kabbalah to me. I don't know.
Well, you have to add another point, meaning it's not simply our physical, it's our withdrawal from the physical is representative of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's non-physicality.
But okay, but we are physical. There's a limit to what we can do.
Exactly. We're not supposed to fast for 120 years, right? We're not supposed to fast for 120 years. When a baby's born, it starts nursing from its mother almost immediately, correct?
Right.
Right? So obviously, we have to have a physical interface, right? There's definitely a physical interface that we have to cope with and live with. But very similar to the shadow. Like I mentioned this the last week. If you take your hand and you put it in front of a light, so you see a shadow. You'll see a shadow on your table or on your wall, right? There'll be a shadow. You put out one finger, right? And then there's one finger there. You put out two fingers, then you see two fingers in the shadow, right? The shadow is completely non-physical. Is there any physical existence to the shadow? Maybe photons or something like that. Someone can explain to me, maybe even photons, but there's no physical reality to the shadow. But nevertheless, right, the shadow does indicate something about the hand that it's a shadow of, right?
Right.
So it's conversely, Kadosh Baruch Hu is completely non-physical, and so he created a physical counterpart to reflect, to shadow what that specific aspect of a Kadosh Baruch Hu as being non-physical. And that's why Adam was created, but Salma with the Musai.
So I go to India and I hike up to the top of the mountain and I enter a cave and I see a guru sitting there. And I'm supposed to say, now I understand Hashem.
Right. To a certain extent, yes. A person who wants to be withdrawn from the physical, right? So there is a dimion in that person's separation from Olam Hazeh, from Gashmias. There is a dimion to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is separate from physicality, from Olam Hazeh as well. Right? The only thing is that here we have other obligations besides that, right?
I'm sorry, say it again. We have what?
We have other obligations as well, meaning when we have a Torah, so the Torah directs us in how we're supposed to express our Tselem Elokim. The Torah tells us how we're supposed to express our precious from Olam Hazeh, our precious distancing oneself from Olam Hazeh. So the Torah dictates to us how we're supposed to express that precious, right? You have a monk that sits there in the cave, right? And so he doesn't have a Torah, so he's just using it to the extreme, right? But we, right, for us, it's enough if a person keeps Shabbos. You work 6 days during the week, and on Shabbos you refrain from doing malacha. That's you're emulating Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu did the same in terms of creating the universe as we know it, right? 6 days, and then the seventh day, Kadosh Baruch Hu rested. So we're commanded to do the same, and that is a emulation. That is a demus of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? That's a tselem of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Right? When we keep Shabbos, we're expressing our tselem alakim in terms of HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating and resting from creation. And also, we also rest from our activities of work, our activities of creation. We'll see a little bit more in the next paragraph. This is a continuation of the Maharal. We'll go into this a little bit more detail in the next.
So would you say it's true to say that to the extent which a person is different from an animal, that we can identify that he's acting in a way that an animal would not act, that reveals to us the deeper understanding of Hashem's image?
Yeah, that's supposed to be some type of a example of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's separateness from this world in terms of not being physical. When we withdraw from the physical in the ways it's prescribed by the Torah, right? So therefore, that should make an indication of how Kadosh Baruch Hu himself is distant and removed from the physicality of this world.
Okay, Viter.
Yeah, take a look at this. He's going to explain further. This is more continuation of the Maharal.
V'hinei perush v'yivra es ha'adam b'talmo. And behold, the explanation of the creation of man in his image. Ki Adam hu b'tzalmo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Since man is in the image of Hashem, Ratzalomar, that is to say, shtehem lo yisbarach mitzad olam hazeh.
That he's relating to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That is to say that he's relating to Hashem, who created him from the side of this world of physicality.
Okay, one second. One second. So, Kia Adam hu b'tzalmo shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's as if Adam is in the selmo, like the shadow of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? That he's like in the shadow of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Rotzaloma, that means to say, Misyaches lo yizbarach mitzad olam hazeh hagashmi. That you see that there is a relationship of a Kadosh Baruch Hu to this physical world.
There's a relationship between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the physical world. So the Olam Hazeh Hagashmi is the physical world?
Right.
Okay. Ki Baris Ha'adam Ba'olam Hagashmi She'yeh Adam Ha'adam Melech Bit chasonim kamo Hashem Yisbarach.
Bitachtonim. Yeah,
Pardon?
Bitachtonim. Bitachtonim on the lower creatures, meaning tachtonim are everything that's in this physical lower world.
Ah, okay. So since he created man in a physical world, it is that man is the king of the lower creatures. And it's like Hashem may be blessed, al hakol, concerning everything.
Right, meaning ki brias Adam ba'olam agashmi, the creation of Adam in a physical world, sheyeh Adam melech, that it should be that Adam is the king, b'tachtonim is the king on all the lower creatures. Kamo Hashem is brach alakol, like Hashem is the king on everything.
Oh, so man is to the animals like Hashem is to everything.
Right.
Ah. Univra v'nivra mipnei kach. And he created in this manner Adam, man, bitzior hagashmi, in an image of physicality,
Or a physical form. He created Adam. He created Adam in a physical form this way.
in a physical form, kamo shehu yisbarach nivdal, like he who is blessed is separate. V'shayich lomar al zeh, and it's appropriate to say concerning this, ki b'tzelem Elokim asa es ha'adam, since in the image of God he made man, uperush hagon hu.
Perish Hagun. It's Perish Hagun. It's a proper explanation. Hagun is like proper.
I lost the meaning of that last sentence. It's appropriate to say that it's a proper explanation.
No, he's saying like this. He says like this, that ki brias ha'adam be'olam gashmi, since the creation of Adam in a physical world, sheyeh Adam melech b'tachtonim, that Adam should be the king over those things in this lower world. Kamo Hashem is barach alakol, like Hashem is the king on everything. V'nivra mibnei kach, and Adam was created thusly, Adam b'tzira gashmi, in a physical form, kamo hu is barak nivdal, just as the way that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is nivdal, just as a Kadosh Baruch Hu is separate, right? Meaning, just as Adam is separate from the rest of the animal kingdom, right? That he is considered to be the king over the animal kingdom, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by creating an animal in a physical way to indicate that he is Adam, king over everything in this lower world. Likewise, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Nivdal. Hashem is also separate. Hashem is also separate in terms of his sovereignty and monarchy over everything else. And for this, it's Shayach Lomar Zeh Ki B'Tzelem Elokim Asa Asa Adam. And in this way, it's proper to say that Adam was created B'Tzelem Elokim. Adam was created in the image, in the similarity to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. That just as Kadosh Baruch Hu is the king over everything, Kadosh Baruch Hu created Adam, right, to be king over everything here in this world. And in that way, we have a similarity to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. and Perish Haganu. This is a proper explanation.
So it seems like what it's focusing onto here is the intellect of man, because if you ask yourself, in what way is man king over the lower creatures? It's not physical. I mean, physically, the lower creatures have it all over us. It's only because we have an intellect that we can use that intellect to become the kings. So is it saying that is it the proper explanation saying that B'Tselem Elo Demus means with an intellect?
He's not saying that exactly. He doesn't rely on that particular explanation. But I mean, it's true physically, but there's a little bit more than what you mentioned here, because the animals, there's a natural fear of animals for Adam. Animals normally will not attack people. Under normal circumstances, they won't attack people. Not saying if they're overly hungry or overly angered or something like that, but normally animals will not really be interested in approaching a person, even though that physically they're much stronger in many different ways, much quicker, much stronger, much more well equipped to fight, right? But nevertheless, there's still some innate fear that a Kadosh Baruch has placed in most animals under most normal situations, that they are fearful from Adam, right? And that's a certain, whatever that certain respect that they have. So it's similar to a person would naturally have a fear and respect for, let's say, a king, right, or someone who's in power. Physically, you might be stronger. You might have this, 7.5 foot, 350-pound guy walking into the king's palace, and this king is like, a 5'4", weighs 103 pounds, right? This guy could pick him up and crush him in a minute, right? So what stops him from doing it? The fact that this is the king. This is the king. So he has a fear for the king because of the fact that the king's the king. So animals, in a certain way, also have a certain fear from Adam, because we've been given the sovereignty, the monarchy, rulership over the animal kingdom to in most normal circumstances. So that's also to give us a physical representation of a Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world. So Adam, in a certain way, is like a physical representation of there is no physicality to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, but of like the powers of the stature of the dominion of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, it's a difficult concept. That's why we're spending some time trying to understand it. Tomorrow we'll go into to a couple more explanations. We'll see some more detailed explanations about that. But I guess in the meantime, it's probably a good time to take a break, and we'll get ready for this year in Mishnah Brewer. And Roy, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabbi.
See you. Bye.
Okay, Mitzvah Shem, see you all soon.